Hey, hey, welcome back, guys. All right, so Aries, we are about to march into our last full moon of 2025, which also happens to be a super moon. And I thought we would do something a little bit different to celebrate. So we're going to pay homage to some fables, some mythology. So it comes to us from East Asia, and there is the story of the marriage god Yu Lao, who is also known as the Old Man Under the Moon. And in this mythology, this marriage god sneaks in at night and ties a red cord to the ankles of people that are meant to be, like, fated to be together. And that red cord, red string, sometimes between like a pinky finger and a thumb of two people that are meant to be together as well. But this is in Mandarin, this is called wan fen. In Japan, is referred to as a kai ito. So it's the red string of fate. And so we're going to ask if the moon would like to reveal who is Aries fated to be with? Who are they tied to? Who is their heart connected to with a red string? Orion Star, thanks for being here, babe. Wonderful to see you. All right, so let's begin. 5 of Cups in the reverse, 4 of Cups upright, Knight of Wands upright, 8 of Swords. Okay, this is somebody Aries already knows. This is somebody where there was a fumble, a delay. The delays are over, but we certainly see that Aries has heartstrings tied to somebody, but I don't know. I thought somebody had to, like, travel for work or travel, and we're talking like take on a contract that took them to a different state, a different country, a different province, or they met in college, but then, took an internship abroad, and it's been 15, 20 years before these two make their way back to each other again, because they lament some amount of wasted time. To a certain extent, an area of their life has never grown without Aries in it. There are no leaves on this tree. And it's like all that time, all that wasted time, I could have already been building with Aries. I knew it was Aries. I knew that's who I needed to be with. This says they want to make up for lost time. They could be moving very fast because they hear the tick, tick, tick of the clock. This is somebody who, I don't know if they have like like a nickname or something of a bunny, or if somebody actually has a pet rabbit or something. Also, Easter could be specific and significant, but this person has to get back into Aries' life as swiftly as possible. I think that they had a passionate fling with Aries, and they thought that would be like enough to sustain them, and it's been the exact reverse. Hasn't been enough to sustain them. This is somebody who has missed out on many, many different opportunities. We have 3 of Swords, we have an Ace of Cups sideways, and we have a King of Pentacles upright. This person has been very much actually like kind of going through hell, and I think that feeling increased the longer they were away from Aries. And I do feel like they were probably distracted for one, segment of life while they were doing other things, building things, chasing down dreams. I think that they realized they made a left turn. They should have actually been building with Aries, because I think they've had a lot of losses, a lot of mistakes, a lot of unbuilt dreams. With this Ace of Cups and the King of Pentacles upright, it's like, I don't think this person went out and bought their dream home either. I think finally, if they make the right choice now, if they make their way back into Aries' world, and if Aries will accept them, that's where they may finally get to have everything that because I think this person wanted like riches, or they wanted, something quite elaborate with their life, but they didn't get to build that because they hadn't chosen to be in the partnership. I understand that, we all want to go out into the world and like find ourselves and such, but then there's also the other layer of things where it's like, well, when you've already met your person and you know it, and you could have co-created with them, you would have accelerated your growth, because it would have been 2 people already like clicking together and, expediting the process. So it is like they've been set back for however many years. They didn't just lock it in with Aries. And I mean, I don't know. I'm torn between like 2 and 20 years. like quite a while or not quite so long, but it just feels like they could have already, because they've lost 2 years or 20 years. It's like, then technically they have to make up for that and do double time now. So it's like they're 4 years behind or they're 40 years behind because they have to make up for the lost gap plus jump ahead. And this is in building something. I feel like on one hand, this person is more motivated than they've ever been in their life because they hear the clock ticking. This puts somebody's, I don't know, I'm just going to give an age range because I keep wanting to say 32, 32, 32, but it's 32 to like 65. I don't know if that's a big range, but the first number I heard was 32. They want some two-story house. And they want, something that has like a, I don't know, like a breakfast nook or something. Okay. For all I know, Aries already got that. Why do we have, look, sometimes the universe balances, and the thing that somebody said, I want this. I want it with Aries, but I'm not going to do it with Aries. I'm going to first go off and try to get it myself. Sometimes the universe goes, okay, well then here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go ahead and make sure that you get this. Like Aries gets it, so you can see what you could have had you been with Aries. That's the way this looks to me, is I'm going to figure out how this could have gone, and make sure that you get it, even though you didn't get it, or the Aries gets it, but they don't get it with you. Yikes. We have a King of Cups in the reverse. This is kind of to have shown this person a little bit of like, when you don't give to the relationship that you want to, it is because you've withheld. Now something's being withheld from you. So I have to say there is some karma involved here, because we do have that King of Cups and it's in the reverse. The King of Cups in the reverse is somebody that is in a very, they're like, they either have something tarnished or they have something, it was stingy. And so life balances. 9 of Wands. I feel like Aries must have moved on without this person. Hang on, let's change decks and let's just go on to Aries for a moment and say, where is Aries at? Does Aries have a connection to this person that they've been aware of? Knight of Wands and the 9 of Coins sideways. So Aries sees it too. Aries knows that they also have been able to, like, they think of this person as like, yes, we had a lovely time. There was this lovely fling. And I kind of knew, though, that it might not last. I kind of knew I was going to end up single still. I kind of did know that at some point. Yael, thank you, babe. Oh my God, you are so lovely. And you changed your name to spell it out. You are so amazing. Baby, thank you. That is so kind of you. Yael just gifted Piscean Witchery a membership. Oh my God, babe, thank you so much. You are so kind. Give the boys a little scratch behind the ears. Thank you, sweetheart. And welcome, Piscean Witchery. You are now a member courtesy of Yael. We have a 4 of Swords. We have the Chariot. God, if anything, I think Aries kind of knew. This is one that I can't let get under my skin. It maybe kind of did, but then Aries also said, hey, listen, I have other things to do in life. I can't sit around and wonder what the heck happened. We had this passionate encounter. We had this lovely time. But maybe somewhere deep down, I was like, I don't know if this person's going to stick around. I kind of feel like I'm still going to wake up, alone in a cold bed. And it might have been something a lot like that, like a no strings attached. Maybe it was, a couple of, passionate encounters. But it was like, I already knew I would give up being single if they were more serious, but I have a feeling that they're not going to be that. And so I pretty much am sure that I'm going to still end up single. And it kind of stings because of what could have been. But on the other hand, I'm just going to go ahead and move on with my life. Aries sounds very prudent, very grounded, very, they don't spend, their time twiddling thumbs and wondering why somebody else is keeping things light and, jumping into their life and then exiting. Aries is not the kind who latches on, is like, whoa, come on back here. You're going to stay. Aries is like, if somebody wants to run, you let them run. You don't chase, you don't hold on, you don't insist, you let them run and you continue on. I want to ask this though. Yael, thank you again, babe. Chained Warrior 420. You are also now a member, courtesy of Yael. Thank you so much, sweetheart. You are so amazing. Thank you, babe. So kind. I want to ask this with the universe coming in and saying, well, actually, no, we can't talk about the universe in this. Remember, we are actually going along with, Yulao. So the old man under the moon, the Chinese god of marriage. We're paying homage to this mythology, so let's stay with that. What happened here? 10 of Pentacles, 9 of Swords. Yes, they were fated to be together. Yes, we see them possibly, it's still destined to sit, this is kind of like a, oh God, like 1700s, an emperor and empress sitting side by side in their thrones, at court. And it's like they're still destined for that. But admittedly, there's stress around this because this person was either fearful of being in that, 10 of Pentacles. It means that they have to really be ready to give. They have to really be ready to sit beside, the emperor has to sit beside his empress. And if there was fear around that, fear maybe around commitment or just fear around, I keep thinking that he had to go out and get it himself first, get his success, get, his own life, like prove to himself that he has merit, that he deserves to walk this planet, And on one hand, oftentimes we have to, like, in our own mind, justify, like, what am I here for? What's my function? But he took it to another level, saying, I've got to go figure all that out and get everything that I think I'm supposed to have instead of building it with Aries. And I think it's because there's a lot of fear around, like, sometimes it is easier to go it alone, or we think it is, because then we're not going to feel bad if we let another person down. Like, what if I can't make enough money to buy the big house and I let down my Aries partner because I can't seem to move ahead? So instead, I'd rather not disappoint them. I'd rather go off and try to get it all on my own. But what's happened is, over a span of time, he's realized that was the wrong move to make. I haven't moved forward. I was supposed to have been building it with Aries all this time. But the big fear here was, what if I'm not going to be able to sit beside Aries like this? What if I'm not going to be able to be that person beside them? That actually gives us a different spin on this, because what it actually says is this character has not been, like, rude or dismissive of Aries. If anything, they kind of cared too much about whether or not they might disappoint Aries. At this point, knowing that it's come around full circle, where they're pretty aware that nothing's been working out too good for them, because they were supposed to be building all this while with Aries. What does that mean for them? Let's go back to them, but with a different deck. Where are you thinking about things right now, character? And by the way, we saw him as a King of Cups in the reverse, as far as, like, having been, like, only thinking about his own successes and his own need for validation. But now we see him as a King of Pentacles, or certainly wanting to be a King of Pentacles. So shifting into that more grounded energy. We did have Justice, but I wouldn't put them as a Libra. That's more just like the balance of the karmic of, energy of the universe coming in. What are they thinking about right now? They're thinking a lot about this kind of lonely path that they took that didn't yield what they wanted. We have a 3 of Wands upright, and we have the Star. They're thinking about making their way back into Aries' life. They've even got a compass out. And this feels like, talk about, the red string of destiny or red string of fate. We literally have the strand of DNA being like, there's a song by Roy Orbison, I was born to love you. Born to love you. He's such a great singer. I I just keep hearing his refrain, and I'm sorry, I can't quote any of the lyrics right now because his beautiful voice is taking over in my head right now. Um, that DNA strand that's almost invisible coming down from the cosmos, I would say they are actually the ones aware. Oh my God, I've always been connected to my Aries. They're the ones who feel like it's fated. They understand that. That's actually really kind of cool. Why are you awakening to that right now? Is there anything special about this time? Queen of Swords, there's been a lot of transformation. We certainly have awakening. We see butterfly wings. We see kind of like a crown chakra opening up in this glowing light. We see the rock Karen. So there's also a sense of peace and calm. Whereas once upon a time, there was a lot of stress surrounding the idea of being in partnership. Now there's a knowledge where it's like, but that's where I belong. I already went out and tried to do it on my own. It didn't work so good because that was the wrong direction to go. I was supposed to be building with the Aries that I feel is they're my fated partner. Can I just ask, what about Aries? Does Aries feel the same way? Does Aries feel fated to them? Two of Swords, but it's interesting because this Two of Swords looks more like a Two of Wands, where there's two different paths that a character could take, with this interesting blue tree there in the middle. And this, to me, this looks like one of those, I don't know what you call them, but usually like you buy them at like toy shops around Christmas in particular, where it's like in their sciencey section where you take those little paper trees and you stick them in just a little bit of water. And because they've already been saturated in, a solution that like grows the little crystals, and it, a little piece of paper winds up growing little crystals on it. And it looks like a tree with branches. I don't know what they're called. I can't think of their name right now. But that's what that looks like to me. So I don't know if somebody's buying one of those for like a Christmas gift for a kid or for themselves. The only time in my life I ever had one of those, I was an adult, so that I bought it for myself. So that's one of those things that I don't know, that this is not a real tree, but it is. I keep picturing somebody who's like growing crystals. Now this is on Aries' side, and I'm asking, does Aries feel fated to them as well? Where is Aries at right now? We have the Sun. We have the Tower. There is something here that says, no matter what, yes, Aries knows that there's something special here because we have Uluru here. And I had just done a backdrop on Sunday where I did a zodiac video for every zodiac, and it was with Uluru behind me. This is a very sacred location in Australia. It's magnificent. It's in the Northern Territory, and it's extremely sacred and spiritual, especially to the Australian Aboriginal custodians of this land. And like every surface, every fissure, every crack on this rock has particular meaning. And there's lots of even creation beings that they believe are housed within Uluru, and just there's a lot of significance from what limited knowledge I've had based off of what I've read. So I just have to say, with this diamond that is hovering above Uluru, I would say without a doubt Aries says, look, even if I tried to kind of forget them, block this and say, oh, whatever, I can't help it, they're still somehow a part of a magical tree of life for me. And, crystals grow slowly over time. And I kind of think that this thought has crystallized, or maybe we could say it has formally become like this diamond in Aries' mind, where it's like, look, at the end of the day, yes, I'm very clear on the fact this person has special significance in my life. Why? Because not everybody sticks in our head. Think of how many people in this world we will meet, cross paths with, even lovers we might have. And then we can actually forget them because it was like, yes, but they didn't really make a dent on my heart, or they didn't really leave an imprint on me. And then certain people do. And sometimes it's the people that we had only very limited connection to, yet they stay with us for the rest of our lives. I think Aries is kind of surrendered to that and said, look, they are important. I actually tried to block it, but in truth, I already know that, so I'm not fighting it. This is Aries right here, dropping the walls, saying, yep, they are important. I have no idea what all that means other than they stay on my mind. So yes. And actually I'm glad I met them. Aries doesn't have hard feelings. I'm glad this person is making their way back into Aries' life. I don't think Aries will probably like be pissy or fight this. I think Aries is kind of like, yeah, well, they probably have to be back in my life. That's just how that probably has to go. Although Aries isn't saying, oh, I'm waiting for them to come back, I'm sure that they're coming back. We don't have it like that. We just have the awareness that they are very special to me because they stayed with me. They stayed on my mind all this time. Well, Aries might be in for a bit of a surprise that this person is headed back in, but on the other hand, that's maybe not a surprise at all. You guys, thank you so much for being here. I so appreciate you guys. Maureen Jacobs, great to see you, babe. You guys are so